We don't have an intro to this podcast. Maybe we'll have one later.
And I'm back. Hello, this is the Film Crew podcast. My name is Quan, and it is no longer November. It's December 5th, 2021. And because it's no longer November, it means that No Nut November is finally over. Woo! Yeah! No more No Nut November. Yeah. Don't really give a shit. But now we can, I guess, participate in the timely tradition known as Destroy Dick December. I'm not going to participate, A, because I didn't participate in No Nut November, and B, Destroy Dick December sounds really horrible. So yeah, we're not going to talk anymore about it. It's another classic meme tradition that I'm not going to do. So yeah, but you know what else is a thing in December? It's Christmas and Christmas Hallmark movies. Yeah, woo! Yeah. I know it's appropriate to talk about Christmas and Christmas things and watch Christmas movies and do whatever Christmas things related. We're not going to talk about Christmas Hallmark movies. Honestly, in my opinion, this might be a hot take, but Hallmark Christmas movies are kind of the same in terms of the literally everything. You have the family and it's the Christmas time, or it's the romance and it's the Christmas time. And honestly, Hallmark Christmas movies are all the same. I still love watching it though. So yeah. Anyways, we're not going to talk about that. I could probably cover Christmas Hallmarks in like half an episode. But what I want to talk about is some news, not particularly movie news. We do have the Spider-Man coming out this month. I believe Nightmare on Elm Street's coming out December 31st. And in between all of that is a bunch of Christmas movies, and expect to see a lot of Christmas movies coming out this month because it's almost Christmas. What I do want to talk about is some YouTube news. If you're in YouTube a lot, you may have noticed that the dislike button is gone. Don't know why. It's interesting because YouTube's saying that it might stop the I guess dislike bombs some creators get. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I've noticed that there are indeed dislike bombs, mostly because the person who created the video kind of deserved it. Whether they're a fucking piece of shit or they're corporations, or it might be a scam video or a how-to video that promised to teach you things, but not really. And let's be real here; those three examples, nobody really cares. Obviously, assholes deserve it. We don't really care what corporations think because they're corporations. They make millions of dollars, and scam and shit how-to videos, you kind of need the dislike button for that, because if you check a how-to video or a scam video and you're genuinely looking for a tutorial, and you notice that the dislike button or the dislike ratio is high, then you'll know, hey, I don't want to waste my time watching this video. I genuinely need this tutorial, and this person is scamming me out. So honestly, the dislike button's kind of useful in that sense, but it's whatever. It's YouTube. They can honestly do whatever they want to appease their corporate overlords. In other news, gaming's kind of like shitty. Not particularly gaming channels or gaming in general, but gaming corporations or game corporations, the AAA games. The same people that YouTube's trying to appease. Let's see here. We're not going to talk too much about it. Activision Blizzard's pretty shitty with their equal opportunity and being toxic to their employees. Grand Theft Auto came out, or Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition came out last month. That kind of sucks. It's not so much Rockstar, but also kind of. It's more Grove Street Games developed the new Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition. Everyone was super excited for it. Turns out that they didn't really do anything. In fact, they kind of destroyed a lot of fans' expectations. And it feels like they didn't try. It looks like a port of the iPhone game Grand Theft Auto created by Grove Street Games, I believe. Anyways, let's move on. Call of Duty Vanguard came out. The download size is super high, so I didn't even bother getting it. Battlefield 2042 was also kind of shitty, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they took 2 years to make the game, and it's probably one of the worst ones. From what I've seen from critic reviews and user reviews. And it does kind of make you wonder why AAA games today are kind of shitty. And I do have a theory behind it. I think it's because gaming companies these days are getting too much leeway. Maybe not so much the developers, but I know the publishers probably they probably know that they can literally shit on a disc and sell it to people, and people are gonna buy it. I don't know. Honestly, I think gaming companies, at the end of the day, they're getting too much leeway from people. EA is still gonna keep making Battlefields, and people are still gonna buy it. Activision's still gonna be a shitty company. Honestly, I don't really like Call of Duty too much, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, we're not gonna talk much more about it. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the gaming world. This is, in fact, a movie podcast, not a gaming podcast. So we're just gonna move on. The good news is, though, movies don't get the same treatment as games do. If you make a shitty movie and consistently make a shitty movie, you're gonna be recognized as a shitty movie maker until you get the one hit and you become famous. But at the end of the day, it's much like, honestly, in my opinion, movies, it's one of those things where it doesn't cost as much to watch movies. Games, especially AAA games, they cost $60. Battlefield and Grand Theft Auto both costing about $60. Movies, if you watch it in the movie theater, costs like what, $8. Netflix is a $15 a month subscription, so it doesn't cost as much, so that's kind of fortunate. And I don't think there are too many shitty movies out there, and if there are, you can see movie reviews about it, and you'll have a better sense on whether it's worth a watch. There are a lot of shitty movies, though, and more specifically, there are shitty genres. Or, I don't want to say shitty genres. At the end of the day, it is my opinion. It's one of those things where if I don't want to watch it, I'm not going to watch it. If I think it's a shitty, just because I think it's a shitty genre, other people might not think of it as a shitty genre. But I do want to kind of talk about young adult romance movies for a second. There are some good ones out there. I think Hunger Games might qualify as a young adult romance, even though there's also a lot of action and drama and shit like that. Hunger Games is a good movie, or a great movie series. But I honestly, there's a reason why I didn't want to talk about Christmas Hallmark movies. I wanted to talk about Twilight for a second. Twilight isn't really a shitty movie. It's just really strange. Even the books, I've never read the books. I don't think it's a shitty book. Clearly, book series, people clearly do enjoy Twilight book and the movies. But God, the concept's so weird. Because you think about fucking let's start at the beginning. You have the protagonist, Bill Swan, played by Kristen Stewart. And can I just say Kristen Stewart isn't that bad of an actress? But for some reason, I don't know if it's her first movie, but the first Twilight, her acting is kind of robotic, and I kind of see her as getting a little bit better. So I don't know if it was like her first movie and she was just super inexperienced. But I'm not here to talk about the actress. The actress, Kristen Stewart, is completely fine. Edward Cullen, played by Robert Pattinson, he's a good actor. I do like Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter, kind of, not really. But it's so weird because we have, again, Bella Swan, who's in high school, and she falls in love with how old is he? 90-year-old vampire named Edward Cullen. And that's like an 80-year-old gap, an age gap of 80 years. Not gonna lie to you, that's kind of strange. And it follows Bella Swan and Edward Cullen's romance. And then the second movie, Edward, I believe, dumps Bella because it's getting too dangerous for her. And she starts talking to her high school friend, Jacob Black, which, by the way, I'm Team Jacob all the way because, they're relatively in the same age gap. So that's okay with me, but then, other stuff happens I'm not going to talk about right now. It turns it into a love triangle, and I think in the second movie, Edward tries to he goes to Rome to burn in the sun because he's sad, but Bella comes to save him. Does she no, she doesn't become a vampire. She saves him. The third movie, she becomes a vampire, but it brings up the whole. It signifies even greater the love triangle Jacob, Edward, and Bella have, and then I think that's when she becomes a vampire. And then I don't know what happens in the fourth movie. I think that's when they go, like, they finally get married or some bullshit. They have a kid, and this is when it gets even weirder because Jacob, the word they use was imprint on Bella's kid. Like, she gets pregnant, and the moment that the kid is born, Jacob imprints on her, which I don't know what that means, but based on wolf biology, I think he falls in love with her. Or at least the biology of the wolves in Twilight. But the point is, Jacob kind of falls in love with the kid, or not even a kid, the baby, the day-year-old baby. That's kind of weird. That I get why, because Bella got really mad at Jacob because she didn't even get to hold her, and then Jacob imprints on. That is super weird, dude. What the fuck am I talking about? This movie series or the book series is super strange. And the thing is, I kind of get it. The author Stephanie Meyers I feel like she tried to portray herself into Bella, and maybe she has like she wants to fall in love with a 9-year-old vampire and a 15-year-old potentially fucking weirdo werewolf. But it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, fuck it, I'm down. Like, but oh my god, it's so weird. Like, let me be completely real with you. Stephanie Meyers made another book to movie adaptation. Well, it's not a book to movie adaptation. It's a book that turned to a movie adaptation called The Host. And the plot of The Host is there is an alien parasite that invades the Earth and the human race to make it, I guess, the ideal planet to live in. Like, everyone's happy, no more wars and shit. And they do it by making humans a host. Like, they're a parasite. They invade the body and they control the humans, whatever. That's fine. But it follows. I don't know how old this one parasite is, but I think it's like 100 years old or some bullshit like that. That falls in love with a teenage human resistance fighter. Like, I don't know how old he is, but I think it's between like 15 and 17 years old. So I don't know if it's like I don't know if fetish is the right word or if it's like the ideal romance. Because it's not kink shaming or anything, but maybe keep the ideal romance thing to yourself on this one, because we're talking about literally an old person falling in love with a teenager. That's super fucking weird, dude. I get it. I get it. If you're into that, you're into that. Ain't no king shaming here. Fucking I used to think Nala from The Lion King was a baddie. And before anyone says anything, let me explain myself on that. Yes, I know Nala is literally a lion with no human characteristics. Like, I get furries. This doesn't even count as furry. But have you ever? Because Jesus Christ, I shouldn't have said that. It was "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" when Simba and Nala wrestle and they fall down. They roll down a hill and she looks at Simba super seductively, and that's what got it for me. Keep in mind, I was like 12 years old. That's my excuse. I was 12 years old. I was going through puberty, and that's how it's gonna end. Just if anyone wants to bring it up, just keep in mind I was not even a teenager, and that's how it's gonna end it. The point is, I get it. We're into some kinky ass shit, but I feel like this is one of those times where you kind of keep it to yourself, as this is honestly kind of sus. The movie isn't that bad. The actors, they were kind of robotic, especially Kristen Stewart. That was kind of how the meme of her showing no emotion that came about. But let's be real here. As she gained more experience, Kristen Stewart kind of became a better actress, in my opinion. Robert Pattinson, Cedric Diggory. I don't really have too much to say about him. Taylor Lautner Jacob was Shark Boy, and that movie kind of was a thing that happened, and I don't think he's in any other movie besides Twilight. I'm thinking really hard, but I can't name another movie. Other than that, the besides the romance, Twilight isn't even that bad of a plot. About vampires and the hierarchy, and resisting the norm of, because the thing is, vampires, I guess, couldn't have sex or couldn't have like babies with humans without the approval of the top dog vampires, which is super weird on its own, because it's like, they're not really associated, but also they are associated, and they have laws that don't really make sense. They're trying to fight against that. And vampires and werewolves, they have like beef, but they come together to fight this common enemy. And the plot, other than that, super cool. The last scene of and vampires and werewolves, they have like beef, but they come together to fight this common enemy. And the plot, other than that, super cool. The last scene of the vampire werewolf versus the asshole vampires, that scene was the battle was super cool. Too bad it was all in the head of the leader vampire, and that kind of sucked. I don't know. Anyways, that's about it. I just wanted to talk about how weird, like, some of the plot, especially the romance, that was super weird. But other than that, the book, I'm sure the book's fine. The rest of the plot's fine. The directing is honestly pretty good. The actors and the actresses, they were robotic at first, but they improved. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. And yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening. I have a gaming channel, Quan is Gaming. I also have a shorts channel, Derek Quan. Gaspar isn't here right now. He has a channel, Gaspar_the_creature. Follow us on Instagram at FilmCrew7. Not on Twitter. We do have a Twitter, but don't follow us there at Krew Film. You can find us on any podcast channel available. Make sure to like if you liked, subscribe if you're not. My name is Quan, and I'll see you all next time. God, that was fucking weird.
We also don't have an outro either. We'll probably have one soon.